If anyone knows how hard it is to gather Israelis and Palestinians around the same table, that person is Yossi Beilin. We join Mr. Beilin now in Tel Aviv. As a former member of the Israeli cabinet, you were one of the main negotiators of the Oslo peace accords in 1993. You were also at the Camp David talks in 2000. 10 years on, do you see any chance of this new round of negotiations achieving peace where all other initiatives have failed?
Well, I'm afraid that the gap is too wide. I don't believe that it is feasible, it is realistic to think that Benjamin Netanyahu is ready to bridge such a huge gap. His views are very far from the minimal requirements of Mahmoud Abbas, President Mahmoud Abbas. And as a result of it, I'm afraid that the discussions, the negotiations might collapse very soon.
More than finding a final and permanent solution for the conflict, you say that leaders should try to reach a temporary and partial agreement. How can that be done?
In my view, right now, the right policy of the United States should be to change the target of the talks rather than to create high expectations and spectacle events in Washington, in Sharm el-Sheikh, in other places, to invite all the important leaders and then to have no results. They should target it towards an interim agreement or partial agreement or something like this, which might be much more feasible.
The organization you lead, the Geneva Initiative, last year presented several propositions to solve the conflict. What is your suggestion for the key issue of Israeli settlements?
Well, the settlements is the least problem, because once you have a border, then all the settlements on the east side of this border should be uprooted, and all the settlements on the west side of the new border should be under the Israeli sovereignty, and Israel might build there as much as it can. So the main problems are the refugee issues and Jerusalem. In Jerusalem, the solution is that whatever is Jewish would be Israeli, whatever is Arab will be under the Palestinian sovereignty. And in the old city, the Temple Mount would be under the Palestinian state and the Wailing Wall under the Israeli state. And about the refugees, we are suggesting a complicated symbolic solution for the refugees so that there won't be an open right of return, so that every refugee would be able to go to Israel, which is really unrealistic. But the Palestinians who would like to go to the Palestinian state will do it without any impediments, and there should be compensations for the refugees.
Do you think that Israel should keep the settlement freeze after September the 26th?
Well, I believe that building settlements was idiotic from the first day 43 years ago, so I did not change my mind since then. And of course, I would prefer to have total freeze, and I don't think that there is any wisdom on a freeze of 10 months and not more than that. The only question is not whether I believe in it, but whether Netanyahu is there at all. I mean, Netanyahu was elected in order to increase the settlements, in order to prevent a Palestinian state, in order to prevent implementation of the Oslo agreement. So I don't believe that the expectations from him that he will act against all his promises, all his commitments to his rightist constituency are realistic. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beilin, a former Israeli minister.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, a former Israeli minister and the founder of the Geneva Initiative. Before the start of this new round of negotiations, this pro-peace group launched the campaign insisting that Israelis and Palestinians are partners.